Let's be real, sometimes understanding Gen Z feels like trying to read ancient hieroglyphs while they're doing a TikTok dance. So I, a millennial pushing 35, a man who still thinks of a thread as something you use to sew a button, decided to do the unthinkable. I would live like Gen Z for 24 hours. From what I ate to how I worked to my entire online life. Could I keep up? Would I even survive? Welcome to living like Gen Z for 24 hours? A millennial's challenge. If you've ever secretly wondered what your younger siblings' or colleagues' life is actually like, hit that like button. And if you're ready for some serious digital culture shock, definitely subscribe. This is going to be a ride. Morning, the digital dive-in, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. My alarm, a gentle chime I've used for a decade, went off at 6 a.m. My hand instinctively reached for my phone to open my preferred news aggregator. But no, that was the old me. The Gen Z me had a different mandate. Rule #1. The day begins not with news, but with the feed. The phone screen glowed with a cascade of vertical videos. My For You page was a chaotic, algorithm-fueled fever dream. There I was at 6:02 a.m., my brain still booting up, watching a sped-up video of someone making pancake cereal, followed by a clip from a stand-up special I'd never heard of, followed by a dance, a viral dance. It looked simple enough. A few sharp arm movements, a little hip sway. I stood up. My body, more accustomed to the gentle arc of pouring coffee, attempted to mimic the moves. Let's just say my joints made sounds that weren't part of the trending audio. My For You page must have been listening, because it instantly served me a video for senior-friendly chair yoga. Then a new notification, a yellow hazard symbol, time to be real. The pressure was immense. 2 minutes to capture an authentic, unfiltered moment. But what is an authentic 6:30 a.m. moment? Me staring blankly at a wall, I tried to stage it. I grabbed a book, angled my head to look thoughtfully disheveled. The front camera captured my strained expression. The back camera captured a pile of laundry. It took me 10 attempts to get a shot that looked sufficiently spontaneously imperfect. This is the core of the digital native experience. For Gen Z, who make up over 20% of the US population, the day doesn't start until the digital world has been consulted. It's not just mindless scrolling, it's a ritual. Media psychology suggests this fire hose of short-form content, with each new video providing a tiny dopamine hit, is neurologically compelling, even addictive. It's designed for a brain that can process information in 75-second bursts, a stark contrast to the millennial tendency to consume longer-form articles or podcasts. My morning digital ritual wasn't just about entertainment, it was about checking the pulse of an entire social universe I was barely a part of. And frankly, it was exhausting. Midday eating trends and slang struggles, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. By 9 a.m., my brain felt like a browser with too many tabs open. It was time for work, but first breakfast. My usual toast and eggs were forbidden. Today I was eating for the aesthetic. I'd scrolled through TikTok, a platform where 70% of Gen Z find food recommendations, and settled on a viral trend, a swalty creation that's sweet and salty, of ricotta toast with prosciutto and a hot honey drizzle. It looked beautiful online. My version looked structurally unsound. The cafe I chose for lunch was minimalist, bathed in natural light, and highly Instagrammable. Every dish that came out of the kitchen seemed to pose for a photo before being eaten. The real challenge, however, wasn't the food. It was the language. Gen Z communication is a masterclass in efficiency and in-group signaling, a stark contrast to the more structured email-forward style many millennials are used to. I decided to inject some of this new lexicon into a team meeting. My boss was outlining a complex new marketing strategy. I saw my opening. I unmuted myself. "Hey boss," I began, my voice cracking slightly. "This project, it's giving major effort. No cap." The silence was deafening. My colleagues just stared. One of them, a fellow millennial, tilted her head like a confused dog. My manager, a Gen Xer, simply blinked. I had tried to use their language to build a bridge, but I just revealed how much of a tourist I was. Slang isn't just words. It's a rapidly evolving social code that signals belonging. My attempt wasn't just a linguistic failure, it was a social one. I was an outsider who had stolen a key without knowing what door it opened. Language is a generational barrier, and apparently my breakfast needed a filter before I even ate it. Our day is only half over and the digital culture shock is real. But what about you? If you had to live like Gen Z for a day, what Gen Z trend do you think you'd nail, and what would absolutely break you? Drop an emoji for a funny attempt or for a total fail in the comments below. Afternoon viral challenges and app overload, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The afternoon brought a new wave of digital obligations. During my lunch break, I decided to tackle a trending random act of kindness challenge. The concept is wholesome. The execution for me was not. The challenge isn't just to be kind, it's to create content about being kind. So there I was trying to secretly film myself paying for a stranger's coffee. I felt less like a good Samaritan and more like a clumsy spy fumbling with my phone trying to get the right angle without being noticed. The performative nature of it all felt deeply uncomfortable, a public display of private virtue. This theme of performative authenticity is a psychological hallmark of Gen Z's digital life. It's the paradox of BeReal, where spontaneity is scheduled, and the kindness challenge, where altruism is curated for an audience. It's a direct response to growing up in a world of polished fake online personas, a deep desire for what feels real, even if that realness is itself a performance. After my failed espionage, I explored the other apps on my designated Gen Z phone. It wasn't just TikTok and Instagram. I opened Temu, the Chinese shopping app that was the most downloaded by Gen Z in the US in 2024. I was immediately sucked into a vortex of spinning prize wheels, lightning deals, and impossibly low prices. It wasn't shopping, it was a game. This is a world where everything is gamified. Social interactions have leaderboards, shopping has mini-games, and even learning via apps like Duolingo or ChatGPT is structured around points and rewards. For a millennial accustomed to a more transactional web, it was disorienting. I wasn't just a customer. I was a player, and the app was designed to keep me playing. I escaped, but not before almost buying a tiny desk vacuum for $1.89. My key takeaway: authenticity online is a well-rehearsed performance, and spontaneity is scheduled by a push notification. Evening digital deep dive and social play, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. As evening fell, I braced for the final leg of my journey. For a millennial, unwinding might mean putting on a Netflix show or reading a book. For Gen Z, it's often a more active participatory experience. I decided to dive into Discord. My persona was a fan of League of Legends, so I joined a popular server dedicated to the game. It was like walking into a party where everyone knows each other, speaks in a secret language, and follows a complex set of unwritten rules. There were dozens of channels, hash memes, hash lore debates, hash looking for group, hash pet pics. I was immediately lost to tourist in a vibrant, chaotic digital city-state. Next, I turned to YouTube, but not for the short clips. I found a 45-minute video essay by a popular Gen Z creator, a format this generation surprisingly loves for deep dives into niche topics. The video was about the cultural impact of a video game soundtrack. The content was brilliant, but the editing style was an assault on my millennial senses. The pace was relentless. Quick cuts, flashing text, meme inserts, sound effects, and dynamic captions that danced across the screen. It was visually dense and cognitively demanding. Research shows 60% of Gen Z prefer watching with captions on, not just for accessibility, but as an integral layer of the experience. My brain, used to a more linear and less cluttered visual language, felt like it was trying to process 1,000 things at once. It wasn't passive entertainment. It was active participation in a high-speed stream of information. Their evenings aren't just for consumption. They're for active engagement in vast, vibrant digital worlds that require fluency to even navigate. Night reflection and digital disconnect, 10 p.m. next morning. At the 24-hour mark, I powered down the Gen Z phone and picked up my own. The silence was palpable. My head was buzzing. My eyes ached from the sheer volume of visual input. My social battery, a concept Gen Z talks about frequently in the context of mental health, felt completely depleted. Living like Gen Z for a day was exhilarating but utterly draining. I had spent the day immersed in a culture of relentless digital performance. From the staged spontaneity of BeReal, to the performative kindness challenges, to the constant pressure of maintaining a presence in fast-moving digital communities. It's a life lived at a relentless pace, where the line between online and offline, public and private, is almost entirely gone. This digital-first existence makes my millennial brain, which still sees a distinction between logging on and logging off, feel slow and analog. But I also saw incredible creativity, a fierce commitment to social justice, and a type of community that is profoundly deep, even if it exists in the chaotic channels of a Discord server. Their search for authenticity is real, even if it manifests in paradoxical ways. It's not about the curated perfection of early Instagram, it's about sharing messy, real, and unfiltered moments, even if those moments are framed for an audience. Their world is messy, real, and incredibly fast. My brain felt both overwhelmed and strangely activated. It's like their digital fluency allows them to thrive in a level of chaos that would cause me to just shut down. Conclusion. My 24 hours as a Gen Z was a whirlwind of viral dances, confusing slang, and non-stop digital interaction. It was utterly exhausting, but also incredibly eye-opening. Their world isn't just faster, it's fundamentally different. It operates on a different cognitive and social rhythm. It demands a level of constant engagement and performative energy that left me feeling like I'd run a marathon. This experiment showed me that understanding another generation's tech habits isn't just about watching from the sidelines. It's about trying to immerse yourself. It's about developing empathy. We all want connection. We just have different user manuals written in different digital languages. And sometimes the only way to learn a new language is to dive in, make a fool of yourself, and be willing to laugh at the deafening silence that follows when you say, "No cap" in a business meeting. If you loved this wild ride into Gen Z's world, hit like and subscribe. And now it's your turn. What if you tried to live like another generation for 24 hours? What would you do? Share your imagined challenge in the comments, or better yet, try it for just 1 hour. And don't forget to share this video with a friend who still thinks "on fleek" is current slang. Let's bridge that generational tech gap, one awkward attempt at a time.